Hello everyone, welcome back to the English Room in the channel of Mr. Master Yoga. In this session, we will discuss about simple present tense. We will now focus our discussion on simple present tense, the pattern, and when it is used in sentence. Okay, we will also discuss this simple present tense in three different sentences: positive sentence, interrogative sentence or question sentence, and negative sentence. We will see the pattern for each of the sentence. For positive simple present tense, the pattern is subject plus verb 1 plus object plus the rest of the sentence, a complement. For example, she lives in Bali. I open a restaurant in a mall. The first sentence, she lives in Bali. Lives here is verb 1. And we have asked after verb live, she lives because the subject is she. Sentence number 2, I open a restaurant in a mall. I open a restaurant in a mall. Open is also verb 1. We do not put s after open because the subject is I. So the next positive sentence in simple present tense has the pattern like subject plus be. Can be am, is, or are because it is simple present, plus noun or adjective or adverb of time or of place. For example, he is a teacher. He is a teacher. We used to be is because the subject is he. They are in Malang. We use be are because the subject is they. So that's the examples of positive sentence in simple present tense. Now let's check the examples of interrogative sentence in the simple present tense. The interrogative pattern in simple present tense will be like do or does plus subject plus verb, infinitive or base verb plus object plus the rest of the sentence. If you noticed, the verb in this interrogative sentence is infinitive or base verb. Does she live in Bali? So in positive sentence, we have she lives in Bali. So now in this interrogative sentence, we have auxiliary does because the subject is she. Does she live in Bali? And please check, live here is the infinitive or the base verb. Sentence number 2, the positive sentence says, I open a restaurant in a mall. So in this interrogative sentence, the sentence changed into, do you open a restaurant in a mall? We use auxiliary do because the subject here is you. Do you open a restaurant in a mall? Next, the other pattern of interrogative sentence in simple present tense is be, it can be am, is, or are, plus subject, plus noun or adjective, or adverb of time or adverb of place. So the sentence in the positive sentence says, he is a teacher. Because in the sentence we have to be is, we just put to be is in the beginning of the sentence. Is he a teacher? And sentence number 2, they are in Malang. That's the positive sentence. So the interrogative sentence will say, are they in Malang? We just put to be are here in the beginning of the interrogative sentence. Are they in Malang? So learners, that's the examples of interrogative sentence in simple present tense. Now let's check how the positive and interrogative sentence change into negative sentence in simple present tense. The negative sentence in simple present tense will have a pattern subject plus do or does plus not plus verb infinitive or base verb plus object plus the rest of the sentence. Let's check the example. In the positive sentence we have she lives in Bali. So the negative sentence will say she does not live in Bali or she doesn't live in Bali. So see, we have does here, so the verb changes into the base form, the base verb live without s. So check sentence number 2. The positive sentence say, I opened a restaurant in a mall. So in negative sentence, we use auxiliary do here because the subject is I. I do not open a restaurant in a mall. We have not here because this is negative sentence. Okay? Let's continue. We also have another pattern in negative sentence for simple present tense. Subject plus be, am, is or are plus not plus noun or adjective or adverb of time or adverb of place. The example from the positive sentence we have he is a teacher. Because this is negative form, so it says he is not a teacher. Because we have verb be is here, we don't need auxiliary, so we just say he is not. We just put not after be. The second sentence, they are in Malang. That's the positive sentence. So in the negative form, they are not in Malang. So you don't have to say they are to not in Malang, but just say they are not. Just put not after verb be are. They are not in Malang. Well, learners, after learning about some examples and the pattern in simple present tense, now we will discuss about when do we use simple present tense. So simple present tense is used for a couple of things. First, it's used to express about general things or permanent things. It is used to express something routine. It is used to express a schedule. It is used to express about fact or general truth. It is also used to express about frequency. Now let's check the examples one by one. First of all, we use simple present tense to express or to tell something general or something permanent. For example, she lives in Bali. So she lives in Bali means that it is permanent things. She lives there for a long time, not for just 1 or 2 days. She lives in Bali. Next example, Mr. Hendra works at a university in Malang. Mr. Hendra works at a university in Malang. See, the verb works is the verb 1. So it indicates that Mr. Hendra works at a university in Malang. It is something permanent. Not that he has to work every time, but he works there. His profession is teaching at a university in Malang. So it is something permanent, something that is general. We can also make the interrogatives and the negative sentence. She lives in Bali. So the interrogative will be, does she live in Bali? Mr. Hendra works at a university in Malang. The interrogative will be, does Mr. Hendra work at a university in Malang? Notice that the verb, when we have auxiliary does here, change into infinitive or base form. Does Mr. Hendra work at a university in Malang? It also works for negative sentence. We can change the form positive sentence into negative sentence. Just put not after verb be or after auxiliary. She lives in Bali, then changed into she does not live in Bali. Mr. Hendra works at a university in Malang. Mr. Hendra does not work in a university in Malang. Malang is the name of city in East Java, Indonesia. So learners, that's the examples of simple present tense which expressed about general thing or permanent thing. Now the second use of simple present tense is used to express or to say something about routine activity. Routine activity is something that is done on the regular basis. For example, I wake up at 3:30 a.m. So that is something that I do every morning. I wake up at 3:30 a.m. So routine that I do every morning at 3:30 a.m. So next example, they go to school at 6 a.m. They go to school at 6 a.m. So this is also another example of a routine activity that is done on the regular basis. So every 6 a.m. they go to school. These three examples can also be changed into interrogative and negative sentence. I wake up at 3:30 a.m. The interrogative sentence will say, do you wake up at 3:30 a.m.? They go to school at 6 a.m. The interrogative sentence will say, do they go to school at 6 a.m.? I wake up at 3:30 a.m. I do not wake up at 3:30 a.m. They go to school at 6 a.m. They do not go to school at 6 a.m. So, yeah, like I said before, that simple present tense can be used to express about fact. Fact is something universal, something that is accepted as the general truth, general fact. For example, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. That is something that is universally accepted. It's a fact. The second examples of a fact is the earth is round. The earth is round. Another example of facts is there are 12 months in a year. There are 12 months in a year. So that's also a fact that everybody accepts, that there are 12 months in a year. And there are some of the examples of facts that is expressed by using simple present tense. We can also use simple present tense to express or to say something about the schedule. Schedule is something that we have planned and we expect to be doing it regularly. Let's check some examples. Our English class starts at 10 a.m. So we have planned the schedule that the English class is always at 10 a.m. So we can say that our English class starts at 10 a.m. It deals with the schedule. Other example, the train leaves at 2:30 p.m. So it's about the schedule of the train's departure. It always departs at 2:30 p.m. So it says the train leaves at 2:30 p.m. So we can also use simple present tense to express this schedule. So learners, the last but not least, we can also use simple present tense to express about frequency, to say something about frequency. Frequency deals with how often we do something. So let's check some examples. He always comes to the class on time. He always, we have adverb of frequency always here. He always comes to the class on time. It means that he is never late to the class. It means that he is 100% on time. He always comes to the class on time. So we can change the positive sentence into, does he always come to the class on time? The negative sentence will say, he does not always come to the class on time. So let's check another example. The kids often swim on weekend. So it's also about frequency, like how often the kids swim on weekend. The kids often swim on weekend. If always is 100%, often is somewhat like 80%, maybe, or 85%. So that is often. We can also change the sentence, the kids often swim on weekend, into interrogative sentence. Do the kids often swim on weekend? The negative sentence will say, the kids do not often swim on weekend. So I will summarize that there are 6 adverbs of frequency used in simple present tense. We have always, often, usually, sometimes, rarely or seldom, and never. Okay learners, that's very much the wrap of our discussion about simple present tense, the pattern, and when it is used in sentences. I hope you learned something from this very short discussion. Keep practicing and I'll see you in the next discussion. Bye bye.